I've been turning wrenches on Harleys for 20 years. Dealer markup on a Stage 1 install was $2,500. Same parts, $800. An ECU reset at the dealer was $200 for 30 seconds with a battery cable. There are 7 tricks ahead that Harley dealers actively avoid teaching you. One of them gains 20 horsepower and 18 pound-feet of torque for less than the price of a Stage 1. That's the nuclear option, and it's waiting at number 1. But we start at number 7. Number 7, ECM throttle reset. Here is a trick that is so simple, most mechanics will not even tell you it exists. The ECM throttle reset is a 30-second ignition sequence that clears out the adaptive throttle maps in your Harley's computer. No tools, no parts, zero cost. Dealers charge up to $150 for what amounts to a 5-twist routine. With the ignition off, turn the key to on, twist the throttle wide open and closed 5 times within 5 seconds, then hold it open for 2 seconds and finally turn the ignition off. That is it. The ECM forgets its old learned idle and throttle settings, and it will recalibrate on your next start. Most riders notice a crisper idle and smoother throttle response right away. There is no risk of voiding your warranty, and you have just pocketed $150 the dealer would have charged for a basic electronic relearn. Document your mileage and date if you are still under warranty, just to be safe. This is the lowest risk, fastest win on the list. And it is the one trick every Harley owner should know before paying a dime at the dealership. Number 6, the air cleaner snorkel delete, is the trick that made me question every dealer upsell I had ever heard. Harley's stock intake has a plastic snorkel buried inside the air cleaner, and it takes just 4 screws and 5 minutes to remove. That little tube chokes off airflow and lets intake temperatures spike, especially on hot days. I have pulled the snorkel on dozens of Milwaukee-Eights and twin cams, and every time the result is the same: cooler, denser air, and a real bump in top-end power. Most riders see a gain of 5 to 8 horsepower on the dyno, no joke, just from removing a part the factory put there to quiet intake noise. Dealers will sell you a $200 high-flow kit for the same effect, but this mod costs nothing if you have a screwdriver. It is fully reversible, so if you are still under warranty, just keep the snorkel in a drawer. The real reason shops do not mention this is simple. There is no markup in a 5-minute fix. Just document your mileage and date if you are still on warranty, and you will pocket the savings. Heat shield wrap marks the point where comfort and performance intersect. Using DEI-style thermal tape, a $30 roll in an hour's work can transform the riding experience. Wrapping headers in the intake box with 1-inch tape drops infrared readings by 30 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit under the seat and near the intake, measured on multiple Milwaukee-Eight, twin cam, and Evo engines. This is not just about cooler thighs and stop-and-go traffic. Lower intake temperatures mean denser air, which brings a noticeable mid-range torque boost. Dyno runs consistently show a 5% gain, translating to 4 or 5 pound-feet right, where it matters most. Dealers often push $300 heat management kits for the same effect, but the real change comes from a simple wrap. Installation is straightforward: clean the pipes, overlap the tape, zip tie the ends, and avoid O2 sensor ports. With proper documentation, warranty issues are rare. For the price of a dinner, both comfort and power improve measurably. Number 4 is the Stage 1 homemade kit, the classic weekend upgrade that actually delivers real horsepower and torque for a fraction of what the dealer charges. I have walked plenty of Milwaukee-Eight and twin cam owners through this. It is a set of slip-on mufflers, a high-flow air filter, and a basic fuel tuner. That is it. You are looking at about 4 hours in the garage and maybe $800 in parts if you shop smart. Vance and Hines or S&S slip-ons, a Screamin' Eagle or K&N filter, and a Dynojet PV4 or similar tuner. Dealers will quote you $2,500 or more, mostly for labor and a markup on hardware you can buy yourself. The numbers do not lie. dyno runs before and after show a jump of 10 to 15 horsepower and a solid 12 pound-feet of torque, with the biggest gains right in the mid-range where you feel it out of every corner. The slip-ons reduce back pressure, the filter bumps airflow by 7%, and the tuner richens the fuel map just enough to match. The result is a bike that pulls harder, sounds better, and runs cooler without crossing into full emissions voiding territory. Most riders can do the whole job with basic hand tools and a little patience. Dealers do not advertise this trick because it cuts straight into their most profitable upgrade package. As always, if your bike is still under warranty, document every step and keep your stock parts handy. The Stage 1 kit is the gateway to real performance, and it sets the stage for even bigger gains if you decide to flash the ECU down the line. Coming to the top 3, the 30-minute battery disconnect reset is the trick that separates the casual tinkerers from the riders who want a real diagnostic edge. I have lost count of how many times a stubborn check engine light or an unexplained ABS warning has sent owners straight to the dealer, only to walk out $200 or $300 lighter after a so-called module relearn. What most shops will not tell you is that a full ECU and BCM memory purge is as simple as disconnecting the negative battery cable and letting the bike sit for at least 30 minutes. Sometimes I will go the full hour just to be sure. This is not a quick ignition twist reset. It is a deep power down that wipes stored fault codes, clears readiness monitors, and forces every module to reinitialize from scratch. In my experience, about 80% of phantom electrical gremlins, random check engine lights, ABS glitches, even sticky throttle-by-wire faults vanish after a proper battery pull. The cost is $0 if you have a 10mm wrench and a little patience. The risk is moderate. You will lose radio presets, trip meters, and sometimes immobilizer pairing if you rush the process or forget your PIN. Dealers can spot a recent reset on the scan log, so if you are still under warranty, document the date and mileage before you pull the cable. For most riders, this trick is the line between paying for a dealer scan and solving the problem yourself. It is not a magic bullet, but when the electronics act up, a hard reset is the first thing I try before even thinking about a shop visit. Electrical issues on a Harley often trace back to the factory ground cables, thin, corroded, and barely able to handle the demands of modern fuel injection. The Big 3 ground upgrade tackles this head-on by replacing 3 key ground paths: battery to engine block to frame, and battery negative to chassis. Swapping these with thick 4-gauge copper leads costs about $50 in parts and takes less than an hour. The difference is measurable. Before the upgrade, cranking voltage can drop to 9 or 9.5 volts, making cold starts sluggish and headlights dim. After the new cables go in, voltage jumps to 12 volts or more, restoring strong starter draw and clean ECU signals. Owners report smoother, idle, brighter lights and a torque curve that feels more consistent rolling off a stop. On the dyno, there is a modest gain, about 1 to 2 horsepower at the rear wheel, mostly from reduced ground loop resistance. The real value is reliability. Fewer random check engine lights, no more slow cranking, and a bike that is ready for ECU flashing without electrical gremlins. There is almost no warranty risk since only wires are swapped, and keeping the old cables on hand keeps dealers satisfied. For the price, it is the best insurance for Harley electronics. A full ECU flash with a Power Vision or fuel pack tuner rewrites the rules for Harley performance. Plug the device into the diagnostic port and the stock fuel and ignition maps are replaced with custom tuning. No dealer visit, no waiting, just a direct line to the heart of the bike. On a Milwaukee-Eight 117, the dyno tells a story: gains of 15 to 20 horsepower and up to 18 pound-feet of torque, all from a $400 to $600 device that stays with the bike for unlimited map changes. The flexibility is unmatched. Tune for pipes, cams, or even altitude changes, and revert or update as needed. Dealer ECU flashes cost over $1,200, and they lock you into a single map. But with Power Vision or Fuel Pack, the owner controls every parameter. The catch is hard to ignore. Every flash alters the factory checksum, making it obvious to any Harley tech that the ECU has been modified. Warranty coverage for the powertrain can vanish instantly if a problem arises, and emissions compliance becomes a gray area depending on state law. The performance jump is unmistakable. Throttle response sharpens, the engine breathes freer, and the ride transforms. But the risk is real. Once flashed, the change is permanent in the dealer's eyes. For those willing to accept the warranty gamble, this is the most dramatic, cost-effective power upgrade available. Document mileage, save the original map, and understand the implications before proceeding. The ECU Flash stands as the ultimate tool for riders ready to take full control, with the biggest payoff and the highest stakes. Across all 7 tricks, one truth stands out. Harley riders who learn the real fixes are not just saving thousands, they are taking control. Most modifications will not void your warranty. Always document engine control unit tunes. The real power is not horsepower, it is knowledge. That is what the dealer cannot sell you. Ride smart.